Hello everyone, welcome to the reading. This reading will be for Jennifer Lopez. So I'm going to be covering a few things in this reading. I'm going to be covering her relationship with Ben Affleck. I'm also going to be looking into the whole Wesley Snipes situation because she said some things that were disturbing and kind of just like irritating from my perspective. So let's get into the energies. So let's see, what are her current energies at the moment? What is she dealing with? What is happening with her? All right, the fact that this card, was positioned this way, showing me I need to take it. This has to do with ascension. You know what I mean? This is always about like operating in a higher vibration. But I'm gonna be real with you guys. This is what she's not doing. You know what I mean? Spiritually, I'm seeing that she's not in a good place. Not just that, intuitively, I'm picking up on some dark energies. So, I mean, it is what it is. Let's look further. I'm actually feeling a vibe of a poisonous sort of atmosphere. You know what I mean? So, it's an atmosphere around her that's really negative. It's really toxic. You know, if you're a fan of her, I'm sorry for speaking truth. So with this, time heal all wounds is showing me she's not healed. She's definitely not healed. Not just that, but she keeps herself stuck in a cycle of negativity. You know what I mean? I'm actually getting a vibe of craft, of dark craft. You know what I mean? Dark spiritual shit that she's involved in. And she's just stuck in those sort of like energies. Okay, let's see what this deck shows. All right. It's funny though, because it's like she's in a delusion. Because she's always asking herself, how come things are happening a particular way? You know what I mean? She's just like very defensive. You see with this armadillo? Not just that, but her emotions, like she gets upset. She's always thinking about the future. This is interesting, right? Because like you guys know my readings, like, I keep it real. I don't like to exaggerate or anything like that. And I get that sometimes the energies that I feel and that I see, you guys can't see it unless like some of you guys are intuitive and you feel it yourselves. But I'm just going to be real, and I want to make that disclaimer because I am an intuitive reader. Also, let me say this is all for entertainment purposes only, and this is all allegedly, for the sake of YouTube and all that. But this is showing me a lady that has an issue with aging. Not just that, but it's a real immaturity with her energy. You know what I mean? With this Page of Wands, it's kind of just like she does a lot of immature, stupid shit. It is what it is. This is showing me a person that should be kind of like more evolved, for their age. She's been through a lot. But I'm getting a real immature energy. This card fell face down, so let's see. Because you see how like this person is facing this card basically. So this is an issue that she's dealing with. With this consecration in the universe, it's operating in her lower nature. You see how the moon's here and Saturn's here, you know what I mean? And I don't know if these are alligators or crocodiles, but they both speak to the same energy of operating in a lower nature. You know what I mean? Because fun fact, one of Capricorn's sort of like, I guess, animals that's associated with it is like the crocodile, the alligator. You know what I mean? It's actually one of like Capricorn's like super like lower form of like energies, you know what I mean? Because it's like, I guess the crocodile, then it goes to the sea goat, then it's the mountain goat, and then it's supposed to be a unicorn, I believe. But this speaks to being like in a real serious sort of like low vibration. So it's the issue. It's like she's trying to run. Again, I'm getting energy with aging. And I know this is funny, right? Because this is the obvious energy. Because, like, people know. Obviously, she's big on staying youthful. But it is what it is. This is a real concern for her. And this is how she's operating currently. You know what I mean? She doesn't have a peace of mind. Not just that, but she's also dealing with a lot of restrictions. Not just that, but I'm going to call it as it is. You see like this wheel right here? And this black thing that's next to it? It's showing me that she's into dark forms of witchcraft. And it's definitely keeping her stagnant. It isn't helping her to progress. And it's just, I don't know, like I said, in the start of the reading, I was getting a very negative energy, like a poisonous vibe. So I'm seeing a lady that's very poisonous, you know what I mean? It's very gross, actually, the energy. So let's look further, because it's going to be a long-ass reading. Is her current relationship with Ben Affleck legit? I'm pretty sure that's what we all want to know, right? This investment, I know I have these two decks to pull from after I read this energy. But this is interesting, right? Because this investment is showing me something it's not organic. You know what I mean? I'm definitely getting an artificial sort of like energy. You know what I mean? This is like a man-made situation. Because like if you know anything obviously about like gardening, plants and all that shit, you know, this only happens when a human does it. It isn't like a organic situation. So for her, this speaks of her literally seeing this as something that can benefit her. You know what I mean? But if you look at this tree in the back, and I believe that's a bat, I'm getting very negative energies. You know what I mean? It's kind of just like, this relationship, I'm gonna just call it as it is. It's not legit. It's definitely not legit. If you see what Saturn being here, it has to do with aging. You know what I mean? She definitely wants growth. She wants to stay relevant. You know, these pentacles has to do with like money, obviously. So it's a situation with this that's very artificial. Very artificial. Let's look for further. It's funny, it's kind of just like the energies are like, dude, you already said what needed to be said. With this dedication, this training, hobby, talent, active, game, sport, athlete, this is showing me, again, there's something very controlled about this situation. You know what I mean? Like, she sees this like a game. You know what I mean? It's kind of just like, not like a game, like a fun game. She sees this as something kind of like, let's say like if you're an Olympian or something, right? And you have to train and you have to like, you know what I mean? Keep yourself like tidy, you know what I mean? So you can perform. This all has to do with her celebrity. You know what I mean? So it's kind of just like, for her, this is something to keep her relevant. Again, I know this is the obvious information, but I mean, if it's the truth, I can't, you know what I mean? It is what it is, because I know you guys are kind of just like, well, this is, some of you guys be like, this is the obvious, but it's kind of just like, what do you want me to say? You want me to say something like fake, or, you know what I mean? Like, that's just not how I operate. So, I mean, it is what it is. This shit is to keep her relevant. You know what I mean? She's seeing this like an athlete. You know how like an athlete kind of like keeps their eye on the ball, and it's kind of just like, okay, this is what I have to do. This is what needs to happen. Like, she sees her relationship as a business. You know what I mean? This is definitely a business situation. So her relationship is a business. I'm not getting no love vibes. Obviously, I'm going to be asking like, does she love him and all that later in the reading. But what I'm getting is a business situation. And what did I tell you guys, right? It's about keeping her relevant. You see, the energies definitely speak for itself. You see with this attention. But you see, it's the Tower card. That's a very negative energy. You know what I mean? Not just that, I'm getting a very stubborn energy. I'm getting a very destructive energy. Because in the reading, it was just showing me that, I'm going to just call it as it is. It's like, she's a sellout. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of just like, she's such in a bad place that it's like she doesn't know who she is. You know what I mean? She's so caught up in the whole celebrity lifestyle, that whole shit, that it's like she doesn't have a soul. You know what I mean? I'm gonna just call it again as it is. I'm gonna stop saying that, because I know like sometimes people in the comment section be kind of like irritating, kind of like, oh, you have something against this person, or like a ton of bullshit. So like, you know, I definitely be noticing that. But again, I just have to call it as it is. Like, if you watch my readings, you know, they're really accurate and straight to the point. But yeah, I'm just like, let the reading flow now. So anyway, this situation's all for attention. You know what I mean? It's definitely all for attention. Not just that, but it's also affecting other people. So this is affecting people in her intimate life. I'm definitely seeing situations with her kids, her family. Not just that, but again, I see a sort of like negative apparition that's like always following her, that's always in her life. You see with this ladder, it had to do with her sort of like path in life, you know what I mean? Like, so she's definitely involved in some dark shit. So yeah, that's what the relationship is about, basically. I guess it's stupid to ask, because my next question was, what compelled her to be with him? So let's see, does she actually love Ben Affleck? Nah, she don't love him. You see this death? This is not an energy of love. This is definitely not an energy of love. You know what I mean? And the fact that it's transition makes me think of transformation. You know what I mean? Obviously, usually people want transformation for like their own advancement. So this speaks of that energy. You know what I mean? Let's look. Let's see what this deck shows. Just doing this reading is kind of like silly, because like it is what it is. It's kind of just like this lady, you know what I mean? This is some artificial bullshit. So it's like no point to be like, oh, does she love him and all that. You see with this learning, classes, college, observant, listening, studying, the student, what this is showing me, this is, and you see how like this lady is like sitting in front of her computer. Again, this is a artificial situation, you know what I mean? It has to do with social media, and I'm not talking about like Facebook, Instagram, and all that. I'm talking about just like having your name, your energy out there, you know what I mean? Where people are talking about you. Like, you know how I'm like having a reading on her now? Like, it's that sort of energy. Like, it's to stay relevant, you know what I mean? She definitely wants to put herself out there. You know, she wants people to talk about her, like, oh, like, she went on this date with him, and this is how their relationship is progressing. You know what I mean? It's that type of situation. Not just that. There's a lot of grievances in this energy. There's definitely a lot of grievances. You know, this is showing me that they have their own world. You know what I mean? So it's funny, right? Because this is how she's immature. She knows that this shit is fake. You know what I mean? She knows she doesn't love him. She knows that she's doing this to stay relevant. But she has an issue that he's doing his own thing on the side. You know what I mean? So it's kind of weird. It's kind of just like, again, this speaks of her not being mature. Because a mature person would just be like, okay, we know what this relationship is about. Like, you do your thing, I do my thing. Like, you know, let's not just get caught, obviously. But it's like an energy of, I don't know, she's just an irritating person. And again, this speaks of the whole growth. You know what I mean? So, like, again, she doesn't love him. This is about growth. You see this whole energy vampire situation? This is a very dark, low vibration situation. Like, what was I telling you guys? You know, I know my energies are kind of low because I think this reading's kind of stupid. But I'm already committed to doing it, so it is what it is. But it's like no point. But again, the energies is just showing that this lady, she's a very dark lady. She's an energy vampire. I'm getting kind of like that Kim Kardashian sort of situation. You know, some people say she's like the first Kim Kardashian. But this is a lady that tied herself up with guys, with men, to stay relevant. Not just that, but she is a witch, is what I'm seeing. So there's a lot of rituals that are like very dark and shit that she does. She's a true energy vampire. So let's see what this deck shows. I know the fans are just gonna hate me. What this permutation is showing me. This is kind of just like, she tries to be different, right? She tries to switch up her image. You know what I mean? Because permutation speaks of like variances, you know, of switching things up, of like just different options. You know what I mean? But for her, it's kind of just like she does the same old shit. So this is showing me a lady that doesn't have any new ideas. Like, she's been doing the same thing. Like, nothing hasn't changed. You know what I mean? Everything stays the same. And this is funny that this energy is coming up. Because it's kind of just like, if you look at her, her hair stays the same. The way she dresses stays the same. Her makeup stays the same. It's kind of just like the men that she fucks with. Like, yeah, they're not obviously the same men because they're not twins or anything. But it's kind of just like they have a type of energy. You know what I mean? Like, this is showing me a lady that's very stagnant. It's very disgusting, actually. And she doesn't evolve. You know what I mean? She tries to force shit. But you see, it's nothing but destruction. And everything is short-lived. It's short-termed. You know what I mean? Not just that, but if you look at this horse looks goofy. She's a very goofy lady. You know what I mean? Not just that, but if you look at this mountain in the background, it actually looks like sand. Because mountain speaks of like difficulty, strife. This mountain in the background is speaking of energies that are dry. She's a very dry lady. This is showing me sexually her men don't enjoy her. You know what I mean? Not just that, being around her is very dry. Not just that, but you have to deal with the ominous energies that are around her with this dark cloud here. So, I mean, it's kind of funny because it's like, what's the point? I'm actually going to ask that question next. Like, why is she relevant? That wasn't part of my questions, but I'm like curious. Like, why do people fuck with her? Like, why is she relevant? What is that about? Alright, I'm actually gonna, there's no point to go through the rest of the decks. These energies speak for itself. The reason why she's relevant is because she's a witch. You see what I mean? With this, the wizard. You know what I mean? She's definitely in her spell book. This is a lady that's into some serious witchcraft. Not just that, but that's her strength, actually. This is like the hidden aspect, because you see how the card was face down, right? This strength energy, it has a lot of shit going on with it. You know what I mean? Obviously, these sort of like images don't necessarily mean sort of like evil or anything like that. But in this case, it speaks to that. You know what I mean? Because those are the things people usually assume when they see these things, like the eye and all of that. But this is showing me she's very caught up in some dirty shit. She's very caught up in some dirty shit. This lady is a snake, you know what I mean? So it's funny, because I was speaking of her just basically being dark, being a witch, you know what I mean? Nothing but poison being around her. You see the snakes. So, I mean, that's why she's relevant, you know? She's caught up in some dark shit. So let's see. What are her actual views on Ben Affleck? Like, what does she think of him? Like, that's fascinating, I think. Like, how does she see him? Like, what are her thoughts regarding him? That's what I want to know. with this completion and embodiment and this crown and this Saturn and Earth, she sees this situation as something she can exploit, right? Because it's funny, because in my, like, the energy that I'm getting is that she sees this as something she can exploit, right? But how I'm feeling, just me being a person, it seems stupid, because it's kind of just like, no one doesn't care about you guys like that. Like, you guys are tired. It's kind of just like, yeah, she's using witchcraft to stay relevant, but it's kind of just like, I don't know, like, because I get, like, some people, like, love celebrity gossip and celebrity situations. But for me, it's kind of just, like, she sees this Ben Affleck guy as something that's going to, like, elevate her. But for me, it's kind of just, like, nah, it's tired. But, I mean, I guess. See with this red flags and shit? Because my question was, like, how does she see him? She doesn't even consider him. That's the funny thing, you know what I mean? Like, no energies came up of, like she thinks he's stupid, or she has an issue with him, or she think that he's, like, the greatest thing. Like, it's, like, she doesn't even have an opinion on him. She just sees him as, like, a tool. You know what I mean? So it's kind of just, like, there's no emotion there. That's why it's so funny to me. It's kind of just, like, there's no emotion at all. You see with this caution, beware, toxic, warnings, danger, red flags. If anything, I would say his ass need to watch out, because it's kind of just like, you know what I mean? He's associating himself with something that's not good. You know what I mean? It is what it is. This is funny. Well, let's look further with this deck. These are a lot of damn cards. Obviously, it's relevant for the reading. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull from the top of the deck and from the bottom of the deck. Or the bottom of the pile and the top of the pile. My apology. Again, operating in lower nature. You know what I mean? I obviously spoke of that. This has to do with illusions. You know what I mean? Restrictions. This is all what this relationship is about. Illusions and restrictions. Not just that, but she wants accomplishment. You see with the 10 of Cups. But if you look at this person, the Cups is just leaving this person's hands. You know what I mean? Not just that. So I'm getting, actually, this is like her energy, this green dude here. And it's kind of just like she doesn't even have any emotion to give. And that's what I was picking up, like, when I was telling you, like, she doesn't even consider anything about him. It's kind of just like what it is. It's all about completion, accomplishment. You know what I mean? Not just that, but this is his energy. You see how he has a cup that's behind her back? It's kind of just like he has his own shit going on. You know what I mean? Not just that, but you see how there's a cup here on the ground? He's thinking about his foundation. So it's kind of just like, for him, he sees this relationship as something that can help his career, because the ground always speaks about foundation. So for him, this seems like a good business situation as well. So, I mean, it is what it is. Very fascinating. So, my next question was she chasing clout when she alleged she was assaulted by Wesley Snipes while on set? You know, I know some people were just like, what the hell, assaulted? But that's kind of like what she was saying, you know, because she was just like, she would have did things differently. Like, she would have had blankets and, like, a pillow and shit covering his, or blocking his erection, because she was like, he was wearing a sock and he was erect, and I guess he was just, like, thrusting against her leg, and how uncomfortable, like, she was. And, you know, for me, obviously, that's not assault. So I'm not saying that's what it is, but I'm saying that's the energy that she was putting out, like she was violated, basically. But it's kind of just like, you know, this is what it was about. Like, you know, you were doing a movie and it was a sex scene, so it's kind of just like, it is what it is. But for her, it was like she was making it into an assault, you know what I mean? So let's see. Was she chasing clout when she did that shit? The energies are, like, hilarious as fuck to me, because it's saying all sorts of bad shit. It's kind of just like, I'm gonna just say it. It's like telling me this bitch is crazy and this bitch is dark. That's what the energies are telling me. That's why I laugh, because it's just like funny. Because it's like, sometimes I try not to be so like just crazy, like saying like exactly how I feel, like with the energies and shit. But sometimes I can't help it, because it's just like, this bitch is crazy. That's what I'm getting, you know what I mean? It was nothing but negativity, you know what I mean? Not just that, but it was a bitterness. She definitely feels some bitterness towards him. But this has nothing to do with the scene. Ooh, this is giving me some deep energy right now, right? How do I say this? Or should I say it? Because I know it's sensitive. But I'm going to call it as it is. I know she dated and messed around with black men, but this is showing me someone that has issues with black men. It is what it is. It's kind of just like, she has an issue with herself. One minute she likes them, then the next minute she's disgusted by them. So, I mean, it is what it is. That's the energy that I'm picking up. It's like she has an issue with him because he's black. You know what I mean? With this ugly sweater, it's a very awkward energy. Like I was telling you, like it's like a contradiction, and it's very awkward. Even me saying this, and it is very silly, but it is what it is. It's kind of just like, you know, the ugly sweater speaks of like regret. You know what I mean? It's kind of just like, it's okay when it's happening. Like, you feel awkward while you're wearing it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of just like, yeah, she feels awkward when she's messing with these men. You know what I mean? Because this is showing me, I'm going to like call it as it is right now. Like, they did something. You know what I mean? Like, they hooked up and shit. Like, they had relations. You know? But this is showing me an energy of regret. It's kind of just like, while it was happening, it was awkward for her. You know what I mean? And it's kind of just like, she liked it, but then she didn't like it. You know what I mean? It's that type of energy, you know? And he's not at fault for that, you know? He's just doing him, you know? It's all her situation. It's kind of just like, make up your damn mind. Do you want this guy? Do you not want him? So it's kind of just like that Scorpio sting, you know what I mean? Like, she can't, you see how it says Scorpio right here? She has issues. That's what I was thinking. Like, she's very immature. Like, she's very much in the past as well. So it's kind of just like, she has an issue with just moving on with her life. You know what I mean? Like, she replays things, and it's kind of just like, again, like I told you, she has issues with the fact that this guy was black. So she's just like, I don't like that, hooked up with that guy. That situation is very disgusting. So for her, it was kind of just like, she had to put it out there, you know? She couldn't keep it to herself. Like, so her version of doing it was just like, I didn't like the scene, you know, it was violated. So that's what that's about. It has nothing to do with clout, is what I'm seeing, which is shocking, because I would have thought it would have been like, yeah, she's doing this for clout. But to be honest, it's because she has resentment that she had sex with this guy, and, you know, she's disgusted, basically. This is a funny reading. Alright, you see how the card fell like that on top of my thumb? So I'm going to take it. With this rotation, what did I tell you guys, right? Because with the rotation, it's kind of just like, it goes one way, then it goes another way. It speaks to that energy. And yeah, I know this is basically the Wheel of Fortune with this deck. But, you know, I'm an intuitive reader, so the cards speak, you know what I mean, to me in multiple ways. With this rotation showing me, it's like she can't make up her mind. You know what I mean? She's split. She's definitely split. So again, it's kind of just like, she's attracted to black men, but then she feels this strong repulsion regarding them. You know what I mean? So I know I keep repeating it, but that's what it is, because I want to get the point across. This is very funny to me. So yeah, this lady has issues. I mean, to be honest though, this is like on some real life shit. This is kind of like normal, because this is how like some people are. People struggle with many issues. So I'm not like judging or anything. I don't really care, but it's just funny because it's just showing me like she has issues regarding that. She needs to have a reading with me so we can look into the energies and help her. Let me stop being stupid. But, you know what I mean? Because you can use tarot for multiple things. Like, you know, you can use tarot to look into, like, what's coming your way and what to expect, what to look out for. You can also use it to look into your energies to help you heal. You know, so she definitely needs a reading for healing. And I'm definitely perfect for doing something like that. So also, if you guys need healing and all that, you know, I might be able to help you with my readings and all. Also, if you made it this far, definitely press the thumbs up. I know this is a long-ass reading, but definitely press the thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, definitely subscribe. And also, if you would like to have a reading from me, how to go about that will be in the description box. And if you would like me to cover a celebrity to get into the deep shit that's real, how to go about that as well will be in the description box. So let's see. How does she really feel about Wesley Snipes? So we kind of already got into the energy, but let's just see. How does she feel about him? Like, what would be going through her mind? So I know this is like a contradiction, but what did I tell you guys? She goes back and forth, right? There's an energy of regret. There's definitely an energy of regret. Not just that, this is showing me that she wanted more out of the relationship, but he was feeling himself. You see how this guy has this torch? He was thinking with his dick, basically. He was just like, yeah, you know, we hooked up, you know, yeah, you're open, like, to being with me, because you see how this tree has all this fruit? It speaks of being receptive and all. You see how this Cupid is pointing at her? So it's kind of just like she was open, but you see this guy, his tree is bare. Not just that, you see he was thinking with his dick. Not just that, his dick is over this pink figure here. So it's just, for him, he basically had women on his mind. It is what it is. Not just that, this is showing me that, because there's no point to look into all the other cards, because this reading is really long, actually. But this is showing me that it's a lot of resentment, because she wanted more with him, but he was just like, no. Yeah, this is resolved, but this is showing me unresolved issues. You know what I mean? She definitely has unresolved issues with this guy. Actually, I'm gonna look into the energies, because it's actually really interesting. You see with this wild card, this is her mindset. This is her energy, like, because the wild card always speaks of kind of just like an unstable sort of energy. She's very unstable, unpredictable. You know what I mean? And this is funny, right? For him, he's seen her as someone that was really thirsty. Because this is showing me a lady that was going really hard, kind of just like, yo, you know, like, call me and all this sort of shit. Like, really pushing the issue. You know what I mean? You see with this wild card, with this unpredictable, I'm seeing unstable. He was just like, I'm good. Like, she's coming at me too hard. So this is showing me some embarrassing shit that went down behind the scenes. So this is why she has resentment also. She has a lot of things going on with her. Let's look deeper. All right, this is very deep how this card fell like this on my hand. What this realization is showing me, again, it's an energy of regret. Not just that, but what was done is playing in her head. You see, like, all the different heads and shit? It's kind of just like, that's all she sees. Like, her different relationships. You know what I mean? Her hooking up for clout, like, as far as, like, hooking up with all these different men to advance her. It's playing in her head. And it's bringing her sadness, you know? It's bringing her down. But it's kind of just like, it is what it is. The funny thing, though, is kind of just like, yeah, she has all these issues, right? Where it's kind of just like, it's playing in her head. But it's why she has triumph. You know what I mean? That's why, like, you know, she's Jennifer Lopez. Like, people know of her. Because it's like all the shit that she did to get her to where she is now. But there is a strong energy of not being content and even depression. So, I mean, you know. And the funny thing is, what this triumph is showing me, she likes to feel herself kind of just like, yo, you know, I'm Jennifer Lopez. Like, I'm this celebrity, you know. She gets really caught up with that. But then it kind of goes sour. Because then it goes back to the shit that she did. So, this is actually like some movie type of shit. I mean, this is like a spiritual, true Hollywood story type of shit or something. It's very funny. So now, we're going to be looking back into Ben's energy. I know it's like going all over the place, but it is what it is. So let's see, how does Ben feel about Jennifer? How does he feel about her? Like, you know, Ben Affleck. Like, what is his view regarding her? Also, if my if the reading just ends, my apology. I have a lot of videos and bullshit on my phone, so I'm running low on space. So yeah, I have a lot of just different readings and situations. But anyway, he sees this situation as something that's going to bring abundance. You know what I mean? So that's how he sees her. That's how he feels about her, you know? It's resentment, though, with this 3. Because, again, 3 for me speaks of, like, issues, like arguments, fights, not being content. So it's kind of just like, for him, it's a situation that has to do with abundance. But, you know what I mean? It's no happiness, though. You know what I mean? And then this gluttony right here caught my eye as well. He's being greedy. He's definitely being greedy. It's kind of just like he has his own celebrity. He doesn't even have to fuck with Jennifer Lopez. But for him, it's kind of just like he's being greedy. That's why he's receptive to the witchcraft and shit. Because he's being very low vibrational. This has to do with his motion because the card was face down. He wants to cleanse, though. He wants to get away. You know, this energy speaks of, like, going on a cleanse, going on a vacation. So it's like, yeah, abundance is on his mind, but he's like, I gotta get the hell away from her. But again, he's greedy, so, you know, it is what it is. With this conviction, I mean, I'm gonna be real with you guys. He wants to leave. He wants the relationship to end. He's tired of it. Yeah, he's into the whole abundance, you know what I mean? I don't know how this really brings abundance. I mean, I guess strategically, it's kind of just like the same reason why Gwen Stefani